Alright guys, today I wanted to make a video on a transfer rumour that is doing the rounds at the moment, and Arsenal, this is the report, Arsenal could make a surprise approach for Chelsea and France midfielder N'Golo Kante, age 31, that is coming from the Star. Now, I think this would be the better type of player than if they were to sign Yuri Tielemans, if I'm being honest, because I just don't think Yuri Tielemans solves any problems. I think, in fact, he probably just adds to a position they're already quite good with depth in, whereas Kante, more defensive, well, he is defensively minded as opposed to attacking, which, I mean, they have a couple of players, maybe Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka, and Mohamed El Neni, but they don't have too many, so I can understand this one a bit more. However, I just think this is the wrong player to sign to solve that problem. He's 31 years old now, N'Golo Kante, which, I mean, shows that he probably only has a few years left in him at the top level. And also, we've seen over the past couple of seasons a decline in his performance and so many injury problems. Now, when I say decline in his performance, that's only really come on this season, I feel, to be honest. And he's still not been bad. He's just not been like one of the best midfielders in the world, which he has been over his time at Leicester City and Chelsea. More so at Chelsea because he spent about 6 times as long there. And also, this is a sign of Arsenal's poor recruitment from a few years ago. They decided against signing N'Golo Kante in 2016 to sign Granit Xhaka instead. Now, I'm not someone who likes giving Granit Xhaka loads of stick. I think he, overall at Arsenal, he's been a good player, to be honest. Obviously, there's been a lot of negatives from his time there. Quite a few bad performances and a few mistakes, especially the one that comes to mind is when he took his shirt off whilst on the pitch against Crystal Palace when he got substituted, and basically had to go at the fans. But overall, he's still been a decent player. But N'Golo Kante, I think we can all agree, in his prime would have been a better signing than Granit Xhaka looking back. Yeah, so it's 6 years too late to sign Kante, pretty much. And also, as I mentioned earlier, it's not just the decline in his performance over the past year or so, but over the past 3 seasons, I think since pretty much Frank Lampard came in as Chelsea manager. So yeah, 18 months with Lampard, 18 months with Tuchel. He has had so many injury problems. I think he struggled to play about 25, 30 games a season in all 3 seasons, which is not good, and not what Arsenal need when they're trying to go for top 4. Especially as their mid, I personally think their midfield is more important to them than Chelsea's midfield is important to Chelsea, because Chelsea's midfield, it's more about just like having 2 players in the centre to, just sort of patrol that area, and their attack more so comes from out wide with Reece James and Ben Chilwell or Marcus Alonso of late because of Chilwell's injury, and also their front 3 in Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, or Timo Werner, Christian Pulisic, whoever it is up front, and also having a rock solid back 3. Whereas Arsenal's, their midfield's based on creativity, energy, so like Martin Odegaard, Granit Xhaka, and Thomas Partey obviously does the dirty work. So I personally feel Arsenal's midfield is a lot more important to the way they function, so they need to get this correct. Also, the fact it is from Chelsea, that will mean that N'Golo Kante is going to cost more than his market value, probably a lot more than they should be paying for a 31-year-old, still very good midfielder. I mean, even though his performances have dropped a bit, he's still easily top 10 defensive-minded midfielders in the world. But it's just not the right time in his career for Arsenal to sign them, I don't think. So yeah, I just think that there are probably better options to sign in that position for Arsenal, like in terms of age, in terms of consistency of like being fit, and maybe also performances. I think I'm maybe bashing Kante a little too much on the performance thing now, but he hasn't been bad. He's still been really good, just not what he used to be. And also, I think they can get cheaper options, because I can't see Chelsea selling Kante for anything less than about 40 million, which you don't want to be paying for someone who's in their 30s, to be honest. So if I'm trying to think of an option off the top of my head to be a better signing for Arsenal than Kante, I'm thinking who would be a better option. Let's just have a quick think. I'm just going to reel some names off the top of my head from the Premier League. Maybe Ndidi. I know he's had injury problems past year, but before that he was very, very consistent. As well as that, you've maybe got someone like Norgard from Brentford. He would be a good option, I think, because I don't think he'd be too expensive. I think he's about 27, 28, so maybe a little bit older than Arsenal are aiming for, but you don't always want to sign young players. You do need some experience in your team. And also, he's just come off the back of a very good first debut season in the Premier League with Brentford. So I feel that would be a good signing for Arsenal to make. Douglas Luiz as well is being made clear by Steven Gerrard he's no longer wanted at Aston Villa, really. So if they could take him from Villa, he's more than capable backup midfielder to Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka, I think. He's played most games for Aston Villa since he joined from Man City 3 years ago, and Aston Villa have been a solid mid-table side. So in terms of just having someone who fills in and does a job, I think Douglas Luiz would be not a bad option to go for. So yeah, I'd probably put him as my best option for Arsenal to sign, actually, off the top of my head. That is not basing it on players they're actually linked to. That's just thinking of someone in the Premier League who would be, fairly cheap and a good option for Arsenal to buy. But if I'm giving this Rumour a rating, maybe a 4, because it is the right type of player, and with a bit of luck you would probably still get a couple of good seasons out of him. However, it's not worth the money, and any time Arsenal have signed players from Chelsea over the past few years, they do tend to be players who are like on the wrong side of 30, and they tend to not do horrendously, but they never tend to do very well, let's be honest. David Luiz, Willian, Petr Cech didn't do too badly for Arsenal, to be fair, but he wasn't as good as he was for Chelsea. Let's get that straight. So yeah, it would make the joke coming back of Arsenal being Chelsea players is retirement home. So yeah, I don't think Arsenal should be signing N'Golo Kante, put it that way. It's not as though this report is saying that they are on the verge of signing him. It's like a surprise approach. So it could just be bollocks, basically. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.